It's time now for the latest in local news. In the news, the Wayne County Board of Education met Tuesday afternoon for a work session, and on the agenda was a topic of COVID-19 update. Dr. Brinson says the schools are open and that they continue to monitor the numbers, but the school system pleased with how things are going in the year 2021. Rumors and social media posts continue to suggest the school system is shutting down. But once again, it's all rumors and not true. After the meeting, we talked with School Superintendent Jay Brinson.
Here, School Superintendent Jay Brinson, Board med the COVID-19 update. You said that the county's got some spikes, but the school system numbers are pretty much staying the same.
Well, they're up, but they're not. They don't mirror what's going on in the county as a whole, fortunately, and I think that's due to the hard work of our teachers and administrators really trying to, put those mitigation procedures and protocols in place where they are trying to, maintain their distance, keep a mask on, and wash their hands. So. Our numbers are certainly higher than we want them to be, but we feel like right now we're still able to maintain what we've been doing. We certainly have more absences than we want, more people quarantining than we want, and more positive cases than we want. But hopefully that's going to continue to come down. I'm a simple person. I'm looking at. The fact is we spent 2 weeks not in school when you saw what the numbers did, and so I'm hoping. That we get back to school, everybody gets back in their routine, everybody kind of gets back in their own little bubble per se, and that'll drive the numbers down and help our county out as a whole.
How do you fight that constant rumor mill with social media saying you're going to shut everything down? That was the big announcement.
I don't know. I'm doing a poor job of it, of fighting it, but and that's. I'll just remind everyone, we're a phone call away to get good information. Call the board office, talk to me, talk to Dr. Reggie Burgess. He's kind of our communications hub and director, and he does a good job getting the word out. And and it's I understand the angst and the concern we certainly have with them people's children. We understand what that's all about, but there's a lot that goes into the decision to shut down school. And kids not in school is not a good thing, but if we need to do that, we certainly will. But we're just not quite there yet. So hopefully these numbers will go in the other direction here in the next few days.
Okay, Jay, thanks.
Thanks, Bob.
And once again, those comments, School Superintendent Jay Brinson. Other news from the school board meeting, they voted to keep the same chairman and vice chairman for the year 2021. Nick Ellis, your chairman, Joe McPipkin, the vice chairman. Chairman Nick Ellis gave an update on the search for a new school superintendent, and the board will meet next Tuesday, January 19th at 3 p.m. to go over the applications that have come in from those interested in seeking the job. WIFO FEM asked how many applications the school system received, and the answer is 29. The board will begin to narrow the number of applicants down to the final 3. And the target date for that is February the 26th. Once the final 3 applicants have been selected, the board has to make those names public. Then they will narrow it from 3 to the final selection. WIFO-FEM did learn that Assistant Superintendent Amy Denny is one of the persons who applied for the position. Not certain if any other local applicants applied. Once again, 29 applicants in all. Now the process of narrowing the field down to the final 3 has begun. School system has drawn up a policy regarding campaigning on school property. Should be ready for their approval at the next board meeting. The board approved putting 320 plastic auditorium chairs from Scriven up for surplus property after the tornado. School system says they have no more need for the chairs, so again, it'll be surplus property enough for sale. Under personnel last night, following personnel approved, certified recommendation, Shane Bryan, Martha Puckett Middle School, certified resignation, Sandra Jones, Central Office, retiring at the end of March. Classified resignations, Donna Groover, Jesup Elementary, Parapro, Rosemary Guyton, Wayne County High School Food Service, Tammy Mothers Transportation, and Madison Schaefer, Jesup Elementary, Parapro. And finally, it was announced last night that this Thursday is the Coastal Plains Charter School graduation, where students get a second chance at a high school diploma. 14 graduates will get their diploma Thursday evening. The oldest they say is a 51-year-old man who went back to get his high school diploma. We'll be back with more news after this word from our sponsor, other commercial messages, so please stay tuned. City Commissioners Jesup were scheduled to meet last night as well for a work session and council meeting, but both those were canceled due to the number of City Hall employees testing positive for COVID. They pushed the meetings back to next Tuesday, January the 19th at 5 p.m. On the agenda is the approval for the call for a city election, as this year cities in Wayne County will have elections for mayor and council. Once again, the City of Jesup council meeting canceled last night, set for Tuesday, January 19th at 5 p.m. Legislative sessions underway in Atlanta, and this week Governor Brian Kemp strongly endorsed adding photo ID requirements for absentee ballots on Monday at the start of the session. Legislators expected to debate voting laws in the state. Kemp sat down for an extensive interview with the AJC, says he's reserving judgment on a series of proposals that seek to end at-will absentee voting, ban ballot drop boxes, and restrict state officials or outside groups from sending out absentee ballot applications. but he says unequivocally that he supports measures to tighten voter ID laws for mail-in ballots, which Republicans have targeted after record turnout helped Joe Biden capture the state of Georgia and also helped 2 Democratic candidates win the runoffs for U.S. Senate. Also in the interview, Governor Kemp says he's running for governor for re-election in 2022. He says he isn't worried about any kind of primary fight. He says he will be victorious. More news from the state capitol this week. Georgia Senate Republican leader Mike Dugan says he's tested positive for COVID-19 on day 1 of the session and is isolating himself at home. Carrollton Republican test results came back early Tuesday after taking the test that all General Assembly members must undergo during the legislative session. He says the symptoms are minor, and he says he was tested Monday before experiencing any symptoms. House Speaker David Ralston chastised members for not taking the pandemic seriously on Tuesday as the chamber convened. The chamber requires that every member be tested twice a week. Back to the governor, he says his formal announcement to run in 2022 would likely come later this year. He says he feels confident he will defeat a GOP primary challenger, but pointed to the Democratic upsets in the runoffs as an example of the dangers of dividing the party. He blamed what he calls distractions from falsehoods about Georgia's elections and internal fighting for depressing Republican turnout. Kemp says most Georgians, even if they disagree with him on an issue like the heartbeat bill, they've been supportive of him 90% on the other issues. He says that's why they've got to keep their eye on the ball. He says if the Republicans do what he says, they will be very successful in 2 years. Once again, this very extensive interview with the governor conducted by the AJC can be seen on ajc.com. We'll come back with some final news notes after this word from our sponsor of the commercial messages, so please stay tuned. News this week, Sheriff Chuck Mosley announced that on Monday, January the 11th, narcotics investigators and K-9 deputies with the Wayne County Sheriff's Office, along with narcotic investigators with the Jesup Police Department and task force officers with the GBI, executed a search warrant at 157 Dakota Court South in Jesup. Investigators had previously received information that controlled substances were being sold from that address. The resulting investigation warranted a probable cause for a search warrant to be issued. Upon the execution of the search warrant, deputies and officers found a quantity of methamphetamine, heroin, fentanyl, dangerous drugs, 2 firearms, and over $600 in U.S. currency. 44-year-old Randy Jones of Jesup was arrested and charged with possession of fentanyl with intent, possession of a firearm during the commission of a crime, and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. Also possession of drug-related objects, possession of a dangerous drug, and possession of a counterfeit substance with intent to distribute. 52-year-old Manuel Collette of Jesup was arrested and charged with possession of heroin, possession of fentanyl, and possession of methamphetamine with intent to distribute. 31-year-old Natalie Hardison of Jesup was arrested and charged with possession of a counterfeit substance with intent to distribute and possession of drug-related objects. 37-year-old Justin Tolliver of Jesup was arrested for an outstanding warrant through the Wayne County Sheriff's Office. 36-year-old Amanda Sweat of Jesup was arrested on an outstanding warrant through the Wayne County Sheriff's Office. And 21-year-old Bridget Manning of Jesup was arrested on an outstanding federal arrest warrant through the U.S. Marshals Service. Sheriff says the investigation is ongoing, may result in future arrests and charges being filed. And Sheriff Chuck Mosley will be our guest this morning on the world-famous Butch and Bob Show. Again, the health departments in all coastal health district counties have received an overwhelming response from residents ages 65 years of age and older interested in receiving the COVID-19 vaccination. They state based on the number of calls taken to date, health departments in all 8 counties have enough requests to schedule appointments through February and in some cases into March to ensure they have adequate vaccine to fulfill appointment requests, including second doses. The Coastal Health District has temporarily paused appointment scheduling for new requests. Individuals who are already on the list and awaiting callback will still be given an appointment. Dr. Lawton Davis, Health Director for the Coastal District, says our health department staff is working hard to get thousands of people scheduled for vaccination, but we need to hit the pause button at this time, at least for a little while, so we can manage the current volume of requests. They state it's also their sincere hope that in the near future, more providers will have the vaccine, so there are more places for people to get vaccinated. Residents can go to covid19.gachd.org and register to be notified when appointments open back up. Registering online does not guarantee a vaccination appointment, simply gives them a way to notify residents when the appointment process is back underway. But again, they've been overwhelmed with requests. So right now, they put everything on hold. Again, they state to go to that website to find out when appointments will start to reschedule once again. And that website, once again, is covid19.gachd.org. That's going to do it for latest in local news. Sports comes your way in a few minutes. Bob Morganson, have a great day.